I just finished the sketchbook. It's called a Etchr Perfect Sketchbook. It has wonderful paper inside, 140 pound, and I'm just going to take you for a little tour through the inside. I like the heavyweight paper. It is 140 pound, holds, washes beautifully. It can handle a lot of abuse, a lot of building of glazes, which is the way that I work. Very happy. I use this on location most of the time. This was done, well, the entire sketchbook was done from October to December, and this was during many of the festivals going on in the area. Sketching in the studio, I love it when persimmons are in season, so I always sketch them. I taught a plein air workshop during this time, and I was in Santa Barbara, so this is one of the buildings we went to visit during the plein air event, and spent time in the rose gardens painting all the local architecture in Santa Barbara. More architecture by an artist called Artist Architect, I guess you could say, Jeff Shelton. Really amazing architecture, a lot of fun to draw. Inside the courthouse, drawing some of the buildings in and around the city. I used this one as a inspiration for a demo that I did. So I started off with the warm-up here. No pencil, always directly with pen, and then doing an illustrated journal page. Sketching in a canyon near my house, observing all the little leaves breaking down, deteriorating, the wildlife around there, the lizards coming to life that morning. And then I went back up to Santa Barbara for a weekend. And what I did during that time is I sketched many more of the buildings by Jeff Shelton. He is just a really kind of fun architect that does unusual tile work and wrought iron. All of his buildings have unusual tile that has a pattern that is repetitive. So even though all of these buildings weren't on the same block together, each day when I went sketching, I just drew another one, so it ended up looking like they all kind of filled up one block in the city, which they didn't. It was just kind of a fun way to just record the highlights of many of his buildings. There's always reliefs that you will find, unusual clocks with odd time happening, fun wrought iron, just really a lot of fun. If you're in Santa Barbara, I highly recommend you do a walking tour on your own and find the buildings. Back home again, sketching with friends on location. This is a pencil and watercolor. Very soft compared to the ink and watercolor drawings. As we moved into the holidays, I had this beautiful, what's called a waxed amaryllis. And so I decided to record the growing process as it bloomed. And it really was a nice way to use the sketchbook. It really is rather large when you think that this is 11.4 inches. So this is almost 22, 23 inches across. Right here, where it's stitch bound, the paint does not puddle. It's really nice and tightly stitched. So it was a fun way to record the growth of the amaryllis instead of just doing a straight painting. More little sketches that had to do with the holiday. Painting near my home at the Arboretum in Arcadia. The carriage house there and some of the flowers growing in the area. Back in the studio, I love to integrate writing into my sketches. With this sketch, the words over here really balance two sides of the page, so I often use words not as a filler, but actually part of the design in what I'm doing. More holiday sketching. And another quote. I collect all things relating to writing, whether it's vintage inkwells, vintage dip pens, and it was fun to put these props together and use the writing, kind of a stylized arts and crafts writing to complete the page. When you look at both sides here, you can see that writing here really did add a balance to the whole design. Each year, I like to finish off with sketching the Rose Parade floats as they're being built near my home. And the young kids that were climbing on the float and building, I was having them sign it all around here. It's fun. Their float ended up taking a wonderful award this year in the parade. And I did one more. That was the Blue Diamond Growers float. I just thought this was so animated and fun to look at. Another float that I drew that took an award, kind of I have an eye for picking out the award-winning floats. And I figured the perfect way to finish it off is to just show the bee and say, you know, next up is 2023. Kind of a great way to finish off a sketchbook. I like the feeling that this started in October and it ended the end of December. So this is the Etchr Perfect Sketchbook. Do I like it? I do. I like it very much. This is the company, and here's the specifications of the book. I am really impressed with how well the paper held up. It can handle glazing, it can handle scrubbing, just really, really great. Enjoy it very much. So if you're looking for a good sketchbook, here's one to try out.